I've been talking with more than 100 founders in the last 6 months. And all of those founders trying to do the same thing, try to promote their library or repository every week, trying to get into the GitHub trending feed. Once they are in the GitHub trending feed, they get a lot more stars, forks, clones, clients, visibility. Suddenly they see so much UGC everywhere. But the thing is that a lot of founders think that they can use open source purely for marketing. It means that they will go, promote their repository, ask for stars, getting a lot of stars from different channels, and then become trending on GitHub because the GitHub algorithm is really stupid. And I had some really crazy lunches with different customers of mine. And I've seen many customers getting even to 500 stars in like 3 days. Crazy article, this article, 40,000 views, converting like crazy. Another influencer post that getting 300,000 views. They say, if we don't get to the GitHub trending feed this week, this will be crazy. And I'm also thinking the same thing. There is no such way they will not get to the trending feed. Look how much stars they're getting, how many views to their GitHub they are getting. But actually, GitHub is not so stupid as I said. GitHub knows that activity is not only stars. Real open source repository, real active one, has a lot of issues and pull requests, discussions. There is like real activity inside the open source repository. Fun fact, during Hacktoberfest, I did some trick with Hack Squad and I got 3,000 stars for my previous ClickVote repository. Now I renamed it to Gitroom. But I got 3,000 stars and I didn't become trending over GitHub. I didn't even become trending over the GitHub trending TypeScript feed. So how come? So basically, as I said, you need to have real activity. It means that people are not coming and giving you only stars. They actually convert to be your contributors. So I'm going to give you 8 tricks that will let you get more contributors and have actually activity on GitHub. That's not only for marketing, that's actually the way to build a GitHub repository. So off the bat, just to get started, you can get contributors just by paying money. What you can do is open a few issues, go to a website like algora.io. In Algora, you can add bounties, which is basically money on different issues. People will come and solve those issues. Basically, most of the contributors that come from Algora, they come for money. They don't come for the open source. For them, it's like their Upwork. They just know that they can do it without asking anybody. They can just, do the pull request and get money. Some of them I've seen, very rare, continue to contribute after that, but not really. That's something that you wouldn't really expect, but it does show that you have activity with other contributors on GitHub, and it's also kind of upgrading the amount of contributors that you have. So really go ahead, use Algora, super easy, even take your existing issue and put some bounties on it. The second thing is that contributors inherently are not customers. Some of them are, but it's mostly the community that will promote your product later, that will talk about your product, that will write about it in Hashnode and Dev2 and create so much UGC content. But because they are contributors, a lot of the times they are just here to learn, but they don't really have any business need. Because they don't have any business need, what I would recommend to do is go to GitHub issues and open at least 20, 25 issues. So contributors can go ahead and just pick an issue and ask them to assign it to them. Instead of them going into the product, understanding how to install it, and then after they install it, they kind of need to figure out what issues they have and open it for you so they can start working on that. That's a lot harder. So really go ahead, open some issues. You have the tag of good first issues, which is pretty good. This tag is usually being aggregated in many places, so it's actually like another traffic source that you can use. If you like this video so far, please subscribe to the channel. The content that I'm putting out is really unique. You will not find it in any other place. And this is why it's also really hard for me to promote it, because it's usually easier to promote stuff that has a lot of competition, or at least some competition. So in each video, it recommends a different video. So it will really help me out if you can help me with the subscription button, bell icon. So thank you so much. Number 3 is usually almost any library, any repository, not all, but most of them have the options to create integrations to them. So let's take, for example, Gitroom, which is my open source product, my commercial open source product. I have the option for people can schedule their social media or article on my platform. So what I've done at the first place, I didn't want to create a lot of integrations. For example, I have X and Reddit and Twitter and so on. There's so many more, Mastodon, Facebook, things that I haven't added. And I didn't do it on purpose because those ones are super easy to create. I've created like a very good kind of a provider page on how to create a new provider. They just come to you and say, listen, I want to work on this. And it's also so easy to open them because it's basically like a duplicated issue. So if you have this issue, you can duplicate this issue like, I don't know, 20, 30 times, each one with a different integration, same description, same content, and send them to your documentation. This is actually usually one of the funnest kind of contribution that people like to do. It's easy, upgrading your contributors count, just go for it. Don't think about it. Number 4, and this is something we have done in Novo, is to take it to the next level. What it means, let's say you have one contributor, then he or she will come and contribute one contribution, but they already know about your product. They have already used it. So why not leverage that? Like they can contribute again and again and again. There is no reason all the time just to get new and new contributors, even though it's good for you for the contributors count. But if you want consistent activity, you want to somehow encourage all contributors to keep on contributing to you. So what we've done in Novo is we created a page on the Novo website. It's called Contributors Hero. And when you go to this page, you can see that there is a lot of contributors there, kind of like in levels, with the amount of contribution they have done and the certificate they get from Novo. So for example, people that contributed 1 contribution, they have a bronze medal. 3, they get a silver. 7, they get gold medal. And the thing about this is that, first of all, it's kind of a challenge. Challenges is really good. They want to get into the top table. That's good for them. Second, that gives them authority, something to be proud of. You know, they're looking for a new job. They can send a link. Look my contribution. 7 merch contribution for Novo. Look, here is my page, my social page on Novo, that I have a certificate that I contributed those kind of contributions. So it's really encouraging people to come and contribute more and more and more. You should find other ways, not only contributors kind of page, but you can find so many other things that will encourage people to keep on coming and contribute more and more. Number 5 is just to increase the amount of conversion. What it means, people come to you, right? They see an issue. They don't know how to solve it. They'll churn. The best way for them not to churn is to help them out. How can you help them out? Of course, good documentation, super important. Discord, because usually, especially for early adopters, kind of libraries, you know, less than 5,000 stars, you don't have everything in your documentation. And you know what? Even if you get to 10,000 stars, I'm sure I will not find a lot of the stuff. The best way is to create a Discord room where people can come. They have a support channel, which is a forum, not just a normal chat discussion, and people can ask questions and get answers. Now here is a pro tip that I'm using in different companies. You can use something called answeroverflow.com. What that does, it exposes your support ticket into the web, so it's not only inside of Discord. And now when people search for it in Google, when they have a problem, they can find it. That's super helpful because I promise you will answer many support tickets again and again and again, repeated ones. And those for the early adopters that are willing to join Discord. For the ones that don't want to join Discord, they will not find it. So the best way, Answer Overflow. Number 6 is to create some GitHub discussion. Now, GitHub discussion sometimes looks a little bit weird because, you know, it's like some external thing. Not a lot of people look at it, but it makes people feel that they are a part of what you're building. If every time you want to build a feature, you create a discussion around it, you get some opinions from different developers, people feel more connected to the community and they feel more like they want to contribute. I've seen many repositories that have 10,000 stars, 20,000 stars. I've seen smaller ones like Wing that have almost 5,000 stars. And Wing have a lot more contributors than all the other ones. And I'm always so proud of them because they really focused on the community. They really open discussion. They ask people what they think. This is the way to really work with open source. Number 7 is to create more articles on places like dev.to, Hashnode, and Medium, but not with the same call to action. You can have a different call to action like contribute to us. Now, if you do contribute to us articles, that's a little bit different. The articles need to be structured a little bit different. So you can make articles like how to find a job in 2024, how to become a better contributor in 2024. And then in the call to action, you ask for contribution. And you want to really emphasize in the article on how by contributor to the libraries inside the article, you can become a better developer and get the next job or get visibility. Number 8, this is not scalable. It's not considered as marketing, but more like sales. It's something a little bit different. You go to different repositories, usually at the same tech stack as you. Maybe they do something close to what you do. You go to the pull request section and you can see different contributors that contributed different kind of pull requests. What you want to do is go to this contributor and say, listen, you contributed to this repository. Of course, like in a nicer tone. You have contributed to this repository. We're doing something very similar. We have a lot of open issues. Maybe you would like to come and help us out. That works amazingly. I've done it so many times. It can get you the best possible contributors. Because if you go to some repository and you see some very complex contribution, it means that this contributor is like one of 100. It's really hard to find those kind of contributors. And you can actually get them to contribute to you. Now, how can you reach them out? Usually GitHub, the privacy there is like the year of 2000. So you can actually grab their email from GitHub. The second option is that if it's like a company, you can find their Discord or something like that. And then on Discord, send this contributor a message. Even this feels even a little bit more personal. So there's a higher chances that you can get them to be your contributor. This is a sales kind of thing because it's not one-to-many, it's one-to-one. So you need to do the manual work of getting each contributor. But I think when you're just starting, you shouldn't always think about one-to-many. One-to-one sometimes can work a lot better. And if you like this video so far, please make sure you watch my previous video on how I get at least 10 subscribers for my newsletter every day.